Welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. We love a Sunday special, but we love a special guest. And today we have an extra special guest. She is host of the Off the Vine podcast, which is new every Tuesday and Thursday. The hilarious, the wonderful Kaitlyn Bristowe. Thank you for coming on.
I feel like this is a long time coming.
It's a long time coming.
It
Absolutely.
is.
I'm so happy you're here. We
I'm
are
so
newly
excited to have
friends.
Yeah, we are.
I'll get out there. I'll be vulnerable.
Not the three of us. The
No.
two of you.
We'll
You
get
guys
there.
just met.
We'll get there.
We're good. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of yours, and I'm just so happy you're here. You're here in New York, in studio. If you're watching on YouTube,
Hi, YouTube.
see us in the flesh, so to speak.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
nice.
How do you like being in New York? You're not a New Yorker.
I love it.
You love it?
Yes. Even though Amanda told me yesterday that I could never survive here. And I'm like,
Never
Wow.
survive. That's
Why?
not skinny, not fat. Amanda
Yeah,
Hirsch,
yeah.
who I also love. Why did she assess you as a not survivor in New York?
I think because she just sees me spiral on Instagram and she just goes, you couldn't last here. And I'm like, no, I'm tougher than people think. I think I could do it. Now, I'll tell you who couldn't last year is my 2 golden retrievers. They're with me right now and they can't fathom shitting
Right.
on the street.
Oh,
And
wow.
if I saw someone with 2 golden retrievers, I'd be like, that's a bad dog, Mom.
Right.
Where are those dogs? Where do they get to run?
You've
They
got to
don't.
have like $1 billion to live in the city with 2 big dogs. I think.
absolutely.
Can you imagine the apartment size necessary for that?
No, I can't imagine.
And the shedding. What am I, my mom?
The shedding is bad. It's so I vacuum probably 3 times a day and have lint rollers on hand at all times. Like have one in my pocket right now.
I love
But worth it, right? Golden
Oh,
retrievers are amazing.
I hope I have dog hair in my nose forever.
I have done your podcast at your home and been around the 2 dogs,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
they'll just lay at your feet.
Oh,
They're
that's
like,
nice.
They're
and
very
you're
good
like,
boys.
this is the way dogs should be.
I actually was embarrassed walking Pino and Ramen yesterday because Pino doesn't know how to walk. Ramen was trained and knows how to walk, and Pino's like, he just grew up in a backyard. So I just opened the door and he just runs around. And I try and walk him, and I was like, this is embarrassing. He
This
was like,
is in New York City.
yes, he's like cutting people off. He's chasing other dogs. He's pulling me everywhere. He like he goes to like squat, and then he's like, "This is cement," and then he like won't do it again. And like,
Good thing I
you're
didn't see you
embarrassing
yesterday.
me.
Jared Freed boops Kaitlyn Bristowe on the nose
There you go.
for her dog behavior.
I would have
for that.
accepted. I'd been like, I deserve that.
Are you like of the opinion of like the more dogs the better? Like, would you get 10 dogs if you could?
If
or-
I could, yes.
Yes.
If I like lived on a large farm and had a lot of money and had hired help to help me with all these dogs, I would start a dog farm and would just like rescue all of the dogs. And
Okay, well,
Okay, so
on
you're
this
like a
subject.
10 on the
I'm a
dog
10
spectrum.
I'm a 10.
Okay, hold on. So then let me ask you this question. This is a dating podcast. You're a 10 on the dog spectrum. You meet a guy with 2 dogs. Are we step by step? We're bringing the family together? Or are you like turned on, turned off? Where does this put you
I'm
as a...
probably turned on that
Turned
he
on.
has
Okay.
2 dogs.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
What if
Okay.
they don't get along with your dogs? Is that deal breaker? His dogs.
I believe that old dogs can be taught new tricks,
Ooh.
and I
Okay.
do think you can train them. I think you just have to have patience, and you could do it.
You
Okay.
brought up crying on Instagram.
Great
well,
segue. Great segue. I love it.
I think about you a lot, Kaitlyn Bristowe, because when I first was introduced to you, I came late to the Kaitlyn Bristowe party. So I met you kind
Really?
of after. Well, I didn't know you as
you
the
know what?
Bachelorette.
Did you watch her season?
No,
I did. Great season.
But you are, if you think of the time, like, well, great season 1, and it's like you're the first social media Bachelorette.
Yeah, that was wild. Yes.
And I would give you the credit, and then. You know, I think of the millennial generation, we're the same age, as like, we're like the beta test. Like, we're the analog moving to digital.
Yeah.
So I do watch your Instagram and see you have moments on there and think, and Amanda Hirsch would say you can't survive here. I would say you're kind of like a representation of all of us at this age having to like go through the ebbs and flows and the emotional thing of social media and never experiencing it before. How do you feel?
Really?
Do you feel that way sometimes that you're like,
I guess I've never thought about that, but yeah.
well, you start in Canada, you go on the show,
Yeah.
then you I mean, I
work
know
your way
your
up
life
to the
story.
United States.
You
become
start with your humble beginnings
right.
in
Well, you don't just
Alberta.
you don't just become the Bachelorette. And it takes a specific person, and you're going through this while the world is learning how to deal with social media.
Yeah, I think I honestly think I was supposed to do that. Like I'm almost more sensitive now to social media than I was when I got chewed up and spat out from that franchise. Like I felt like I was like, oh my God, people hate me just for like being me. That is so funny. And now I'm like, oh.
Isn't it
Right.
almost like a little flattering though? When someone when I feel like to make someone feel really strongly either way, it's kind of like you're doing things.
Yeah,
You know, if they're
I
not
get what
talking
you're
about
saying.
you, or are you even relevant? You know,
I get
Right.
what
if
you're
you're not
saying.
being bullied online, are you even doing anything?
Right.
That's
If
true.
if no
That's
one
true.
if no one does a crying laughing emoji or an angry emoji, then there's no emoji.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No, I do. A lot of times I go through phases. Sometimes I'm like, this is so funny, and sometimes I'm like, this is really sad, and then other times I'm like, they're right, I do need a nose job. Like they'll like make me believe things I never even thought about myself, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just on my period. That's all.
That's the power. Well, that's why I think you're definitely strong enough to
I think so.
to survive in New York. Anyone who's been on the internet publicly, I think for more than a year can survive anything because
Right.
there's no like limits as to what people. It used to be like if you hated a celebrity, you had to like write them a letter.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, like, bring in the letters. You know, like you.
I should open
Or
up the
can you
P.O.
imagine having the
box.
energy to write to someone? Like you'd have to
Yeah.
write into NBC to be like, I hate this person. Can you let
but
them know?
but people did
Right.
do that.
People did do that. Yeah.
I'm sure they still
That's
do.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the hardest part? You know, like to live your life in this way. What do you think? Is it? What's the hardest part about it?
Keeping some things private.
Right.
Right.
I would say that's the hardest part because I'm such an oversharer, and now I'm getting to a place where I'm like, maybe I don't share everything, but then people feel entitled to what's going on in your life because you have shared everything for the past
Right.
decade.
And how do you put the toothpaste back in the tube?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's weird that it's relatable. Like everyone listening has their own platform, whether it's 200 people or 200,000. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And when they start seeing someone, when do you put that out there? When
Right.
you know, that's the you know, to say it's not if someone wants to say it's not relatable, they're stupid. There's such a thing as a soft line.
Right.
Well,
For
and
That's an
I
admission.
hate that I always have to try and I don't want to like just have to try to be relatable all the time because I'm like,
Right.
I just want to like if it doesn't relate to you, I'm like I live a different life than you probably. But also, if you close your eyes and you think of 300 people following you, that's a solid room of people that you're influencing, that you're having an impact on, that are carrying
no,
weight.
totally.
that carries embarrassment, that carry
Yeah.
failures and successes, and
Yeah, it
we all
does.
have the feel of what that is on on our arm. But I think that's why I brought up kind of your timing of everything. I think you're relatable by circumstance, like the timing.
yeah.
Like I talk about with dating stuff. Like why are we talking about dating stuff on the U Up podcast? Well, when I went to college, Facebook came out. So like my growth as a person is happening alongside this weird technology thing. Like you're doing, you're becoming famous and known by everyone while this weird thing of like, I follow her is
Right.
happening.
Yeah, that's true. I remember because I remember Andy Dorfman was before me, and I remember seeing her social media, and I was like, what? What does that even mean? Like, what does she do with all these people following her? And then I went on Chris Soul's season, and that's when people started getting brand deals, and like you could actually make money and build something on there. And then I remember, I won't name names, but one of my exes, Sean, he thought I paid for followers because he was like, your following went up like insane amounts. He goes, as if you didn't pay for that, or maybe the show did. And I was like, and I was like, I didn't. I mean,
Did he say that to be mean?
I don't know.
Or was he like,
Was
how
that
did,
an
or
argument?
is he like
It
perplexed?
might've-
Like, how did you get all these followers? Did you pay
I think
for
he
them?
was honestly just perplexed. Like, how does somebody, because this was such a new thing to us. And I literally was the first person to hit 1 million followers in the franchise.
Wow.
And I remember not feeling anything. I wasn't like, you know how some people do like balloons when they hit a certain amount?
Oh yeah, I remember that was definitely a thing. It was like,
I'm
thank
rolling-
you to
Right.
like all 10,000 of my followers. It's like,
And they
get
have like
the-
a 10K balloon. I was like, this is probably gonna go away tomorrow. Like, I don't know.
It is interesting that you're dating someone and then this following thing, the follower economy, the admission that followers equals money.
Right.
Sean,
past a certain level. Yeah.
past a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
level, but
yeah.
Sean Lowe looking at you going, Okay, I guess you're making more money
I love
than
that
me.
he thinks it's Sean Lowe.
Or who is it?
No, Sean Lowe.
Who?
It's her. The one she from The Bachelor. The one
you
I
didn't
forgot.
know, you didn't watch
I forgot.
It's the one
I forgot
I
his
got
last
in
name.
after you.
I forgot his last name.
I don't
actually.
Booth.
Sean Booth.
Yes,
Sean,
yes.
yeah.
Which
Sean
he
Booth.
I think that guy probably wants to kill me. The fact that his name still comes up in interviews, he's like, "Fucking get over it."
This guy's
Caitlyn."
married with
Like,
kids.
literally, and I'm like,
Right.
and he said this to me once, like, I'm like, get over it.
Well,
That's the best. I mean, that's Taylor's. That's the beauty of Taylor Swift, right? You are your own. We all are. That's why she's so relatable, because we all do that.
Oh my
It's also the beauty of being a woman. Guys, after the breakup, want you to literally thrive and go, unless it's a divorce where there's like,
Unless they want $13,000 a month from you.
You
Right.
want somebody to thrive after you break up with them?
I want to be forgotten, to bury into the sand,
He does.
disappear like ash into the ether. I
Oh.
want you to be like, oh my God, thank God I got away from, I want to be
no.
I want to be like thanked, but also forgotten.
Oh my God! I want
Yes.
the person that has broken up with me to be like totally unmarketable, never
Yes.
meet anyone.
You want the
ever
same.
again.
Yeah, maybe
Yes.
gay would be great.
That would be great, or just
Yeah.
like something like some sort of disorder that doesn't like isn't like that bad, but just makes them so much less attractive to the
Well,
opposite sex.
do you
Yeah.
feel, and I guess this is my question to both of you, are your exes a reflection of you?
No!
Well, if you want such bad for them, why do you want them to be gay? You're like, well, that's why he ended
It's
it.
because they're
He's
rejected.
gay. Like, I don't know.
First of all, I ended the last one, so I actually did want good things for him because I felt terrible.
Right, when you ended that, I think that's also part of it.
Right,
Male,
no, that's what I'm
female,
saying.
you
Well, that's the
ending
thing. It's
it.
more
Yes.
when you're rejected.
But when I'm
It's-
rejected,
yes.
I want them to like fail.
Right. And that's why you like only wish good things. It's like I wish that you could be very happy so that you stop texting me.
I've
Yeah.
been rejected, and I don't think that I want any failure for them. I want them.
I only
the
do in
Dalai
the
Lama
moment.
over here.
Like
Yeah.
I only do for like a certain until I work on my own shit,
Until
and then
I'm
I
happy.
go, "Ooh,
Right.
that sounds like a me problem."
My
Yeah.
dad always said, it's not that I do well, it's that my enemies do worse. You
Yeah.
know, that is.
You could say, a streaming service that rejects your Netflix special. Would you say like I want them to thrive?
No, but I'm also not like praying against them because I'm just like maybe they'll do the next one. I don't know. Maybe I'm an egomaniac.
I guess
where
you're not as vindictive as we are.
I know
Yeah.
you guys. Well, this is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. This is lore.
true.
This is actually something that has
I'm
been
also
said
Gemini,
before.
so I'm like
That's part of
psycho.
it?
I think so. I don't know. I always pretend. I'm obsessed with astrology, but I always pretend I know more than I do. And then people are like, "Oh, I'm this sign. What does that mean?" I'm like, I actually have no
You're
idea.
like, fuck,
I-
I'm outed.
never-
I know nothing.
But I feel like you can bullshit your way. All you have to do is be like, "Oh, well, you're really loyal, but you have this," and everyone's like,
That's so me.
"Yeah,
right.
that's so me."
So you ended your last relationship.
I did.
Okay. Now, what is the process? Because I think this is an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Because breakup happens. You are more public than most, but let's talk about it. Relatability. Everyone's got 300 followers. Okay. You're sitting there, listener. Someone's at home listening. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm breaking up with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
We got some stuff on Instagram. We got to pack up.
Yeah.
So how does that work for you? What is the process? Is there like, we have this fight and then like, okay, let's get into negotiations? Like, is there kind of a little bit of that?
What's nice is there was really no negotiating other than the dogs. Like, because he had moved into my house. I had everything. Like, we didn't really go in on things together.
Right.
So it was, in that sense, which was great because,
You don't have to sell a house.
yeah,
or whatever,
there was
you know?
really no, it was just the dogs that was the like custody battle.
Right. Well, what
So
is
stupid.
your arrangement with the dogs?
Ugh, I hate talking about it.
Sorry.
I'll get there. I'll get
Okay,
there.
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You're asking the right questions for a good podcast. I appreciate it. I don't think we all listen to our guts enough. Like, it's actually crazy what your body can tell you, and like deep down if something's right or wrong or feels off, or you're like, but I love this person. Like deep down. And so I think for people that are going through a breakup, I think if you actually allow yourself to just listen to your gut, you can actually get down to the point of like, yeah, this actually isn't right for me. And of course you're gonna have all the feelings and be sad because even for me, like personally breaking up with somebody, I'm still grieving that person. I'm still grieving what I thought we were gonna have, who I thought somebody was, the life that we had, even though, because we were good friends at the end of the day.
Right.
And so I just feel like it is a grieving process.
You're right. Not a lot of empathy for the dumper.
Yeah, not a lot of empathy for
Because
the dumper.
the people think, oh, you got out of it. Especially,
I think there's as someone who's usually the dumpy.
Dumpy.
I think there's this thought of like, you don't get to be upset. I'm not saying this is true, but I think that from the world or the person getting dumped, it's like, you don't get to be upset because if you wanted to be with me, you could.
Right.
So like you're choosing this, so then you don't. But I agree that that's not really fair.
Well, especially in the public eye, because I'm like, God, I'm like biting my tongue on so many things. He's probably biting his tongue on a lot of things. We're like not sharing what people are confused, and you're like, how much do I share? Because then it becomes a headline, and then it's misunderstood.
You guys did a joint Instagram.
Oh,
I remember, and
I hate that.
Well, you did I thought it was so interesting because you did a joint Instagram and I was like, oh my God, this is mom and dad
telling the kids
being good for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and we're the kids, we're the followers.
Yeah.
Well, because there's some weird thing where if you're in any sort of spotlight, you have to have like this PR statement about breaking up, and I was so against it. I was like, I'm not going to do a joint collab post to announce this and say, like, we really deeply respect each other and we're going to remain friends and there for the... I hated it, but it does make it easier because...
You don't have to get the DMs.
Yeah, you're just like, here it is. Nobody can ask questions, even though they still do. But
well, it's like I feel like if you don't do that, then like I look at like J-Lo and Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah,
who are clearly like on the rocks or getting divorced or something, but none of them will say anything. Right. So I think it just creates more conversation around it to people being like, "What's going on?" There's like more digging if you don't do that. Then people,
I think every couple should have to do this, no matter how famous or not famous. Yeah, no. If you posted a picture together with a husband,
you owe
wife,
us an explanation.
You owe us a press conference.
Yes.
Hello. I just want to let you all know.
Yeah.
Just let us know if we have to sit there and watch you holding hands on the 4th of July. Like, this is my firework.
Right.
Fuck you. Give us the real shit.
Look, I hear you, and it was a really big thing for me, too, while we were going through this hard time. I was like, I don't want to post pictures of us looking happy.
Right.
Like, that to me feels icky. I don't like let's pretend everything's okay and put a caption that doesn't mean...
Well, then you get the messages, haven't seen you post with so-and-so in a while. And you're like,
they
what?
count. It's been 14 posts since you've posted with him. And I'm like...
To give respect to those people going, it's been 14 posts.
I've looked at
We are all in our heads. Yeah. Like, I have people that, like, I just put out a post a few weeks ago where I was like, I have a superpower where I can tell that someone's breaking up with someone based on their Instagram profile.
Totally.
Like, you can, and we all have that superpower.
Yeah,
we all have that, like...
Yeah.
A lot more gym pictures, a lot less cuddly, cozy pictures. What's going on?
I noticed there's an emoji over her finger when she was like, they used to be married. Now she's trying to show that he's hiding the ring or something.
It shows no one's that smart, no one's that stupid. Like, we're all very much in the center of the bell curve of, no one's fooling anyone. And when someone tries to fool us, that's, the internet is the hardest place. You can't lie on the internet.
No.
It's really, you're always going to get found out.
That was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from my girlfriend Penny, who she used to work for Scooter Braun, and she was like in the business, and she understood it more than most people did when I came off the show, and she screamed at me when I posted a waist trainer photo for money. I was like, yeah, I use this waist trainer while I work out. I hadn't worked out in months.
I mean, the Kardashians used to post those.
Yeah.
So it was like they made it seem like it was okay.
And she was like, I don't care how much you got paid for that. Take it down. If you want to build a loyal audience, and you're going to have to say no to a lot of money to get bigger things. And I was like, what? And I came from working in a restaurant. So I was like, $5,000 for a waist trainer? Fucking I'll wear it every day.
Right.
And so, yeah, I learned really quickly, people see through this shit.
What would it take for you to put a relationship on social media? What would it take? I'm in love. I think I'm going to get married to this person.
It would take marriage.
Right.
Actually, we're getting engaged.
We talk about it on the show. Like, listen, I'm no Kaitlyn Bristowe, but I'm out there single dating.
Yeah.
And you have a dating podcast.
And I have a dating podcast. And it's very difficult for me I think that's to me, it's the step.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, let's go out. Hey, let's be exclusive is totally different.
Right.
It's, hey, I'm going to bring you into this world that is fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
That is, that's going to get talked about.
Yeah.
That like, it is a huge step for me.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
It is a huge step. Like,
Right,
it's
well,
marriage,
and you're like embarrassed of that being a huge step because it's
Yeah.
like it's so frivolous. It's social media, but no, it isn't. You're in the public eye. This is you have access. You have the camera that shows you in the public. You get to direct it.
Right.
Well, and isn't there a fear? I would imagine there's a fear of someone dating you because they want the clout to an extent, right? Like someone who just thinks like that's their way into 1 million followers.
Well, I think that's something that in my last relationship, I think we got caught up in at the beginning. You know, we shared very quickly, and Bachelor Nation loves another Bachelor Nation couple.
Right.
And we got all this attention from it. And I seriously think we both got a little lost in that. And we got caught up in the monetizing our relationship for social media. And that felt gross really quick.
Right, and then you start performing towards it.
a little
and-
dystopian.
Oh, 100%. I feel like I want to build like such a solid and trustworthy foundation with somebody first instead of that happening because, like it or not, I do have a following on social media and that's just something that I have to now think about. And I don't want to even tease it like, oh, to put emoji over his face and get people talking. Like that doesn't, even though I know that's like for number purposes.
It would help you.
Right.
It would help me, but it just doesn't feel good.
Well, that's where integrity comes in.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little
what's
like
integrity?
you're selling.
Right.
It's like you're selling yourself.
Right.
You're
Right.
selling your whole. Like if you're selling your milestones, you're selling yourself. Like,
And then
you
again,
know
what happens when you go through tough times and then you don't post for a bit and then people start
Right.
questioning. It just invites a lot of noise in.
It's really hard to be authentic as a couple on social media.
I
Like
agree.
especially when both people are in it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of I think TikTok couples are the least funny content. It's always, I've told you this. I
know.
told you.
Yeah,
It's
you
always
did.
the wife on top of the counter and the husband's like, what's she doing?
This again.
It's crazy. And it's like, how many times are you going to be surprised by the wife dancing on the counter? It's always
Right.
Leave It to Beaver. It's always I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
I've seen this show before. Just because I like Nick at Night, now I'm
Right.
punished. I have to watch reruns here.
And you lose
Yes.
the ability that
Yes.
most people have in a real relationship where like your work and your income are separate than the relationship in
Right.
the vast majority of cases. But in these cases, they're like, it's probably hard to untangle like how much of this person do I like? How much did the attention do I like? Where does because they're all kind of
Yes.
tied together, right? At that point.
I'm telling you, I think I would have got out of the relationship sooner. I think we all can say that though.
Right.
You know, like
That's-
looking back, we could have all. But it was a
That
total.
became part of it.
Yeah, it became part of it, and I'm like, I just don't want to ever do that again. Like that. That's something I really don't. I want to protect it at all costs. I think a relationship is so important. It's something that I like look for that I want in my life forever. So why would I not protect it? And I feel like you lose those moments with somebody too when then you're like, oh, that would have been funny. Let's recreate that and document it. Like
Right.
I had this person on my podcast.
Run the lines back again. Yeah.
I had this person on my podcast who said like, she calls them inside treats where it's just for you. It's not for anybody else. And that how much that can make a difference in a relationship. And I'm like, so now like, let's say I've been dating somebody since Jason and I broke up. Like, let's just say I've been with somebody nobody knows. I have all the same videos that couples have on Instagram and TikTok, but it's just for me.
Right.
And that doesn't happen anymore. And it's like, it's an inside treat. I get to look back on that and be like, nobody is sharing that except for like,
You're
Yeah.
like my
But
dad at the beach. My dad will take pictures out at night, and then at the next day, I go, "What do you do with all these pictures?" He would always take a
Just
picture on his
for
phone.
me.
He goes, "I go walk on the beach and I just look at the pictures."
Yeah.
I'm like, what a loser.
But but with you,
freak.
Right.
you're like losing money, maybe.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Right.
I am. I'm losing followers. I'm losing money, but I'm gaining integrity.
Integrity.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the other thing too. I guess a question that when you go on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, you are now living in the economy of relationships. Like relationships
Right.
and dating is your farm, so
yeah,
to speak.
yeah.
How do you go on a first date? How do you
How do you meet people?
Right. How do you meet? Yeah. Do you go? What do you do?
I like meeting people in any way possible. I don't care if it's on. I've never been on a dating app,
Okay.
Okay.
which I'm not against. I just have never been on.
I don't think you could.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think
I
it's
wanna
a place.
tr- I've
I'm
always
on
wanted
one
to
right
try it.
now. I am losing my mind.
Okay. But like that's
people know you, don't know you, all the in between.
Yeah. And then there's a game to it, and
Right. You don't.
Well, no one wants to be like screenshotted and sent to everyone's friends.
Listen, I'm the one screenshotting other people and sending it to my
I
friends.
would too.
I'm probably screenshot a ton by like, look at this fucking idiot who thinks he knows about dating and look at his stupid profile. I'm sure.
If you came across like Brad Pitt on a dating app, you'd screenshot it and send it to everyone you knew.
For sure.
Right. And so that's what people would do with probably either of you.
I would be mortified at some conversations if they ever came out from me and other people. I'd be like,
oh my God. Well, read your texts out loud that you send to someone that you're trying to date. You are an embarrassment. You are, and it's like, I thought you were looking hot today. It's like, who am I? Who is this person?
My way of flirting is so bad. I just am mean. Like, I'm just
mean.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why I am like a boy in high school when I try and flirt. I'm just like, I want to like push you over at the park.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's kind of banter.
Yeah.
Right?
I love banter. I love poking. And then it feels like every time the guy always ends up telling me like, kind of hurt my feelings. I was like,
that's when you know to reel it in.
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay.
Last guy you met, how'd you meet him, and what was the first date?
Last guy I met, I've had maybe 2 first dates.
Okay.
One was nice because it was just we went where nobody could see us and just like parked a car and ate pizza, and I had a glass of wine and chatted, and it was actually really nice. It was like old school,
like Lookout Point.
Yeah,
this is like,
it was like
what is
make
this?
out point.
Yeah,
it was cute.
Okay,
yeah.
That is cute. That's very bachelor, core.
Well, maybe he's did some research,
and then we took a helicopter.
Yeah,
of course, as you do.
Fly over
the Statue of Liberty,
city of Nashville.
Yeah, but it's very simple. I like simple.
What's the ideal profession of the person that you're dating? So now that
Ooh, like I would like somebody who's like a retired athlete who just wants to be a coach now.
Retired athlete.
That's nice.
That checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
He's got some dough saved away,
and he wants to do good. Like he has like a nonprofit that he gives back to, and like he's got maybe a bit of a dad bod.
Coaches the team. They're all like in awe of him. That's where he kind of gets his celebrity from, where the kids are like, I'm coached by Neil Davis. They're all like super impressed because he was in the NFL.
Right.
But it's not working currently.
Right. It doesn't have to work, but does this nonprofit.
That's why he has a nonprofit.
That gets him a couple $100,000 a year to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like this.
That sounds great. And he doesn't have to post. He does not on the Instagram game.
I'm leaning into the fact that I'm not going to find somebody who doesn't have Instagram, and I need to get over that.
When you say has Instagram, do you mean like has an account or has like a lot of followers?
Like active on social media.
Right.
I used to be like, I want somebody who doesn't even know what the app is, but now I'm like, that's stupid. Like they're going to have Instagram, and it's just like how they show up there is what I think is either a turn on or turn off.
Well, it is interesting. It would be hard for like the idea of like a lawyer. Like, where are you going to like meet him and go on a date with him? Like, these are, the social circles breed other circles.
Well, yeah, if you're not on an app, you're probably, unless it's your lawyer.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, okay, if I need to get over a few things on my non-negotiable list.
Well, that's Jordana. That's your thing.
I always say, I think you get like 2 kind of superficial things to say, I know it's kind of superficial, but these are the things that are like, a turn on to me or a turn off. I won't date someone with this and with this.
Yeah.
But I think more than 2, and then you're a little bit like, then you're wandering into the picky category.
Yeah. But
what are your 2? If you had to pick 2.
Like, I really didn't want somebody to have a podcast, but again, I have to lean into the fact that everybody has a podcast now.
I don't even think that's superficial.
I don't think that's superficial.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't?
If I met a woman with a podcast, and I have 3. I'd be out of there.
Okay, so you don't think that's superficial?
No. Superficial would be like he's got to be over 6'2" or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, height doesn't. I think now I'm trying to think of something superficial. I would like him to. No, I don't even care about that.
What about where he lives? Anything like that?
I mean, as long as it's not like his mom's basement.
Okay.
He's got to have his own home.
He's got his own place.
I would like if he had his own place.
We actually have a game here.
Let's
play the game. We're going to play a game called Thank You or Next. So we are going to ask you questions. Okay. What kind of man you're looking for next. We're going to read off various traits and situations you might find in in the dating world.
Okay.
And you're going to have to say thank you, aka yes.
Okay.
Or next, aka
Ner.
get this dude out of here.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. He's part of Bachelor Nation.
That was another one of my
superficial, not superficial.
Not superficial.
These are so niche. For the audience members are like, yeah, me too. Not dating anyone from Bachelor Nation.
I'm like, I feel like I wonder if other people have that in like the workplace. Like, I don't want to date another lawyer if I'm a lawyer. Like, I wonder.
I don't want to date another comedian.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I say that, but then I see all the hot pieces of ass that come out of the Bachelor franchise, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Hot piece of ass factor.
Well, I think that this leads to another bigger conversation. I think of the question of like, can there only be one star in a relationship? I think kinda.
I have had this conversation so many times, and it just depends on the people. It's case by case. I think.
I think 2 stars who do different things is a power couple. 2 stars in the same world is, I think, tough.
Very tough,
right?
Yeah, I think it's tough.
Well, we had someone write in, was it last week or a couple weeks ago? They were a 34-year-old man.
Yeah.
And he asked, he's going through casting.
Okay.
For a popular dating show.
Okay.
And he asked us, he goes, would you go on? Now, what would be your advice to this guy? He was like, he's like, I got the time. I'm 34. My friends are pushing me, as friends do.
My advice would be clear everything you've ever said that's negative on the internet. Step one. Do you have thick skin? Step 2. And are you okay with looking like a complete either idiot or a hero? You're going to be one or two.
So you don't see it as, because we were talking about it, and I brought up like the pros and cons, and the cons of it is that it takes your life in a direction that might be so unpredictable, but also it only puts you around. The word I'm looking for is temptation. It only puts you around get rich quick schemes. The waist trainer, $5,000 for a waist trainer that makes you look bad to your audience when you're like, oh, I take the $5,000.
Right.
Around men and women who are there for maybe the cameras or for hooking up and not really for substance.
Yeah.
And you have to be so strong.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yes. I cannot imagine if I went into that show younger than I was. I was 30.
Right.
And that's older for that show.
Right.
But it was like the first time in my life that I felt like I actually knew who I was, that I was more confident in who I was, that I knew what I was looking for. I could admit that I was going on for the opportunity, and like it would be a bonus to fall in love. I didn't try and lie to anyone, being like, I'm here for. I was like, reasons. Yeah, I'm like, I was firing off all of my one-liners on night 1, thinking I was going to be the drunk girl that got sent home. Like I was like, I was sort of just being like, this is my one opportunity.
Right.
And the
guy's like, she's fun.
Yeah. That's what he said. He was like, it was between me and another girl I found out for the first impression rose. And I was like, me? I was a buffoon that night. But yeah, I do think you just have to like be prepared for literally anything. But you could, find the love of your life and then live a really cool life of opportunities. Right. I don't know. It's just high risk, high reward.
You could be Sean and Catherine Lowe.
That's right.
Yeah. They are king and queen.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You love them, right?
I love them. I don't know why.
Well, because they're hilarious and wholesome and real. And like Sean's dad humor is so cute and funny. Yeah. And they still have like a little bit of edge.
Just a little bit. Just enough.
But like they're also like this Christian.
That it feels real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Even like when I see them do it, they do so many ads.
Yeah, they do.
They do so many ads, but for some reason I'm like,
you're like, they're providing for their family.
Yeah, right. I'm like, good for them. Like most people, I'm like, ugh. Like
some people's promo codes taste better than others.
I don't know. When they do the ads, I'm like, get it. Like,
did you see Kristen Cavallari's post that she just did for a Kind granola bar?
No.
I was so sold on that granola bar because I was like, that was the most well done ad I've ever seen.
Really?
It's an art. I think people don't realize that it's an art. You can make it look like forced and like tacky, or you can make it, I don't know, you can make it feel
true to the influencer.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
I'll buy a couch from Sean and Catherine.
Love sack every day.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Okay, so yay, let's do thank you or next.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
He has kids.
Oh. I don't know about thank you, but I don't know about next.
I thought it was going to be an easy thank you.
Neutral.
No.
So, I honestly...
This is not how someone with kids wants you responding to their kids.
I don't know.
The dogs were easier.
Yeah. I that would not be a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
I would not walk away from it if he
But you're not
had
asking
kids.
for it.
But I'm not
It's not
like
a plus or a negative.
right. I think I probably eventually would find it a plus because I freaking love kids. So I think eventually once I would just have to get there with the kid, and I would.
He's very, very close with his mom. He calls her multiple times a day.
That doesn't bug me.
You're into it.
I think it. I mean, what's the
Or it's neutral.
conversation? But I always find loopholes for everything. I'm like, well, what does he say? Thank you. I think it's sweet.
Thank you.
Okay. He is long distance across the country and has no plans of moving.
I don't mind a long D.
No?
No. Take
like
that for
that.
how you will. But
There's our sound clip. That's our clip. We had
There it is.
Kaitlyn Bristowe on. I don't mind a long D. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. That's the sound. We got it.
Go ahead.
He takes his shoes off on a flight.
Oh God, I hate that. That's
Socks on, shoes off. You okay with that?
It's better. It just depends.
But barefoot.
Barefoot
goodbye.
is
wear
disgusting.
You wear your shoes the whole flight?
I-
Long flight?
I do,
Okay.
unless I'm in first and they have slippers.
Right.
Then I'll
Right.
toss those on. But I also don't have smelly
Kaitlyn
feet.
hasn't flown Comfort Plus in like
Oh,
a
wow.
decade.
Yeah.
What is she talking
I mean,
about?
that's
So
reason
she's-
enough to go on. That should be the Bachelor, the recruitment process.
Never,
Right.
never
You'll
fly
never-
coach again.
I have a flight to Sacramento later tonight. I'm looking at middle seat Comfort Plus. I'm
Oh,
about to
Lord.
jump out of the
Wow.
fucking plane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
See,
Yeah.
that's her worst nightmare.
Right.
That could be
That's an
that's
ex.
a good superficial thing.
Yeah,
know,
you
like-
gotta be a bougie
Bougely.
traveler.
Yes.
He has a really intense foot fetish and needs your toes to be manicured at all times.
Oh, next.
He'll pay for it though.
No.
Okay.
I'll-
How much is a pedicure? Not that
I mean,
much.
That
he's
would
going
make
to
it-
invest.
No, I would
No.
like make sure I had gross feet because I'd be like, fuck you.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Foot guys need not apply.
Leaves 15% tip. Never
Ew.
more, never less.
Next.
Well, you were a
Next.
waitress.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
was.
Yeah.
That's important.
People in the
to me.
industry,
Yeah.
I agree.
They're leaving
That's
like
a deal
80%
breaker.
and then telling everyone about it. That's a big
Yeah.
industry
Right.
person
They,
thing.
they
Yeah.
post about it. Yeah. Oh God.
Does not ever want to talk about your past exes.
Oh, next. I talk about my exes all the time.
Right. I think I would be a next on that. Like, can't talk
Same.
about it ever.
Oh,
is-
I also love hearing about other people's exes.
Same.
right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want to know
No.
everything.
Has bizarre eating habits,
As in what?
like ground beef and bananas. It was a past episode we had.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. You need an in between, not a thank you, not a next, but a like sure.
Beige flag.
Yeah.
Is that what they
Right.
call
Beige
it?
flag. I
think that's what
Is
they-
they're
That
calling
was a
them?
beige
Yeah.
flag.
Okay.
They could. Let's do one more and then we'll do an email
Okay.
because we got you
Okay.
here. He doesn't drink wine. You own a wine company. Could you deal with like
I've
not
thought about this.
having wine with your partner?
I've thought about this.
Hmm.
It's not a deal breaker. It's not a thank you either, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not a deal breaker because I should probably tone it down a notch.
Did you have wine last night?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's do an email. You ready?
Yeah, right.
I'll read it. Hi, J&J and Caitlyn. Thank you for doing the Lord's work. I wanted to get your advice on how to navigate mutual friends after a breakup. Ooh.
Oh, that just made my whole heart drop into my butthole.
Really?
Yeah.
Butthole drop.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
33, got out of a 4-year relationship just a few months ago. I'm super lucky to have a great group of girlfriends I met back in grad school who have been an amazing support system. They are all also single, some newly single like me. So it's been really nice to explore new hobbies, go out to bars, and do single girl things together. I can't imagine a better 33 out of a relationship scenario than this
Right.
person just painted.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah.
The issue is that my ex also went to the same grad school, and therefore we have many of the same friends, including a few of these close girlfriends. My friends have made it clear that I am their priority after the breakup.
see.
But having
Yeah.
so many shared connections has made it challenging at times for me to have the separation I would ideally want from an ex after a breakup. I've had a few instances now where my friends have had information about my ex that they hesitated to tell me, only for me to find out through the grapevine from other people later, which really hurt my feelings. One of these friends also grabbed dinner with him one-on-one and didn't mention it to me until a few days later, which really caught me off guard and caused some tension between us initially. After my past breakups, I have always healed the best by setting really strict boundaries, no contact, distancing myself from people and places that were connected to my ex, etc. I know you guys have the fuck the friend group mantra. Is that our mantra?
I need to know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
about
don't
that.
remember saying that.
But after losing my partner, I don't want to lose my friends on top of that. Is that advice we've given?
I think we have said that like your friend group, like a friend group is it's a very young thing, and eventually like the friend group isn't a unit like they used to be. It's more about like the one-on-one relationships, and will eventually disperse.
But I also believe in this scenario where it's like, you're 33 and single. You just got out of a breakup.
Yeah.
Of course, I think these friends. It sounds like a good group.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a group I would fuck with.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice on how to protect my peace but protect my friendships at the same time? What is and isn't reasonable for me to expect from my friends in terms of sharing information with me, spending time with him, etc.? Any advice would be super appreciated. Thank you sincerely. Navigating mutual friends after a breakup. So, Kaitlyn Bristowe.
That's so funny. I'm like, did my assistant write that for me and like try and get me to like? I relate to this so hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Was this your last relationship with Jason?
Yeah.
You guys shared a lot of friends?
We had some mutual friends from
Bachelor?
Nashville. No. Okay. Oh, Bachelor's like such a incest like pool. I feel like it's like you can't. I went through a couple situations where I got my feelings hurt by people in the Bachelor franchise because of it, and then I went, I'm just gonna, if I keep having expectations of people that are in this world, like I'm gonna keep getting disappointed. It's not like they're my best friends that are coming over and I like confide in them. It's the Bachelor world, and we're all gonna do each other's podcasts, and I need to get over that.
Right.
I just think communication is everything, whether it's friendships, relationships, whatever. All I ever want out of my friends is a heads up.
Okay.
You know, like something that's like, this might not feel good. I wanted to get a pulse check on like how it makes you feel. That's what I would expect from friends.
Like a heads up, we had dinner last week, or
like if I go for dinner, would that make you feel uncomfortable? Like just like communication.
Well, yeah. I totally agree. Like, what feels worse? I think that what this person needs to like figure out is their pain tolerance for all this. Like, would you know, she's finding out it feels worse to be lied to by her friends than it is for them to have whatever relationship they have with her ex.
Right.
And she's found that out. I think she's got to communicate, as you said, to them like, hey, I just want to know.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to feel like the world is happening around me and I'm just some doofus.
Right. Yeah, I think that's my fear too. I'm like, I don't want to feel stupid.
Right.
Yes. You don't want to feel stupid, but you also don't want to feel like
you're like choose a side.
Yeah, like that, or like you're I'm so sensitive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
She did, well, that's the reason they're hiding it from her. She said, she goes, in my past, she's gone through a breakup, and then she says in her email, in my past, I have had a strict policy. She's saying she's avoiding areas that exes would go to. So if she's telling that to us, her friends know that too.
Yeah, that's a good
point. And so now they're tiptoeing around her. She has to like realize like she's created an atmosphere of tiptoeing.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to admit to that and go, and it's okay.
What do I prefer?
Right. Like, and you got to reel it back maybe.
Yeah.
I think for her, like, she's got to like understand like, this is why we don't give rules on this podcast, and we don't say fuck the friend group is the rule of this. I don't think we said that. But I do think like every scenario deserves its own, you know, at 33, she's different than she was at 25.
Right. I wonder what happened. Like, was the breakup bad? Did he do something bad?
That's another part of it, I think, too. It's like you kind of, if someone wronged you, I feel like you want like loyalty or sympathy. But if it's kind of mutual, then you can't really, I don't know.
Yeah, because I have both. I have friends that are like, I don't want to see them anymore. And I have friends that are like, well, we're still friends. And I get both sides because I'm like, well, I would never ask you to not be friends with somebody. But it's uncomfortable. It's definitely
You mentioned going on
uncomfortable.
podcasts. So, like, if someone went, like, after the breakup, someone goes on Jason's podcast, you were like, oh, I thought you were more a me person. Is there, like, a little element of that?
It just depends. Like, if I had just if I had just had a conversation with them about something that really had hurt my feelings to do with him.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, I agree. And then all of a sudden they're like collab posting. I'm like, what? Like,
Right.
and just again, and all I would want is like a heads up.
No, that I agree with.
And an acknowledgement that they're being a little weird, I think.
Right.
Yeah, like,
we just had a whole shit talk session. You didn't mention once that Tuesday you're going to be doing a collab post. Yeah, I understand that.
Like you always say, the cover up is worse than the crime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to do something a little like that they know that might bother you or a little weird, I think just like a heads up and an acknowledgement that it might be like annoying for you to hear, I think is all you kind of need, and then you can kind of do whatever you want.
And then people can say to me, like, how you've done this, and I'm like, how do you not know I haven't reached out to that person? Like, I just haven't shared it.
Yeah, if you want to date like an ex from years ago or something, or someone went on a date with, like, I feel like if you ask, that solves everything, because no like sane, rational person is going to be like, even if they don't really want you to do it, they're not going to like say, please don't do it, because it's going to make them look.
Well, I have a
weird.
really great example that I can't believe I'm going to share.
Let's hear
Please.
it. So
Get the clip ready.
yeah, get it ready. I went on a date with somebody from the franchise, and I reached out to the girl that he used to be with because, again, I wanted to see.
He didn't. You did.
I did.
Now,
Why would he reach out to his ex to say, can I go on a date with Caitlyn?
I don't know. Are you friends with his ex? Not
we
really.
No, not in. We hadn't talked in months, and like, no, we're not.
So you were like,
we probably look like friends on the outside,
sure,
but we're not.
So you're about.
Can you re-explain this the connection?
So we'll bring it back a second.
Okay, sorry.
You have
you
meet a guy from Bachelor Nation,
right?
In social circles,
right?
This guy had been with another person in Bachelor Nation,
right?
Okay.
And then you were like, okay, before we go out,
yes,
I am gonna go to this person,
yes,
who you were with, and just let them know I would like to go on a date with you.
Asking permission of like the ex before going out with.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So how did you do that?
Thinking it would be the situation where they'd go, well, I mean, I don't love it, but of course I'm not going to say
right.
It was not.
It was not met that way. Did you ask, or did you say, this is the problem, and this is exactly what you're saying? This is the problem with, like, hey, I hope you don't mind. And if it's a problem, then I won't go out with them.
I wasn't saying if it's a problem, I won't. I was just giving a heads up.
Okay. So the message was, it was over Instagram or text?
Text.
Okay, so a text you write, letting you know this is going to happen.
And are you friends with that person?
Not really.
Okay.
Friendly.
Have you ever hung out one-on-one?
Simple hello.
Yes.
You have hung out one-on-one.
It was a work situation.
Okay. Well, I mean, like in a personal way.
Once.
Okay.
But we hadn't talked, and we weren't friends anymore, and it wasn't somebody that I like.
It had been a long
regularly hang out with. Okay.
It was someone that I said, you know what? She's been moved on for a while now. She seems very happy.
Not that happy.
And I went, so I'm gonna just get a pulse check, just see how it makes her feel,
right?
And see what happens.
So the text was, if you can remember it,
how
did the text go?
I said, hey, so and so DM'd me.
Your ex DM'd me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've been chatting. Wanted to see. I said, I know you're really happy in a relationship. So I I said, I don't actually know if this would bother you or not. I don't know if it like was enough to give a phone call. Like, it clearly just seemed like a text thing to me. And yes, she called and was very upset.
And said, do not go near this guy.
No, she said, I always knew you were a bad person.
Oh no.
And you've confirmed it.
Oh
so your true colors are showing.
That's
and then
crazy.
I hung up and I went, no, I just want to send her a picture of me sucking his dick.
Well, I will say she's definitely not as happy as you thought she was.
Wow.
I was like, you should have seen my face on the call. I was like,
oh my God. She called you to tell you that?
Yeah. And I was just like, I am so sorry. Like, I actually did not think you were going to respond. So I am actually really sorry. And
did you go out with him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. She sucked his dick.
Yeah.
She took a picture of her sucking the dick for, for
right
future
here.
reference.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There you go.
Amazing. Please text that to me.
Well, it's so interesting because this is like, I mean,
I would be so embarrassed to like. Here's the thing. Even if it did bother me, and I was even kind of like thinking that about you because I was being petty, and I'm like, just consumed with rage that this person is moving on in any way. It would be so embarrassing for me to actually like say that out loud to one of you, just because I think that it would be like, oh, this person is really still not over this at all.
Well, especially because she had a day to think about it. So I sent the text, and the next day she called. And I am the type of person, I react with big emotions. I probably would have done the same thing that she did in the moment. But then I would have hung up and I would have said, ooh, that was not a reasonable reaction.
Yeah.
And I would have thought it through, and I would have probably talked to my therapist about it. I saw that hat. Hold on, let me ask my therapist. And I would probably do that. And then I would probably call back and say, like, you know what? I apologize for the way I spoke to you. It doesn't feel good that you're doing this. But, like, at the end of the day, I am happy, and I thank you for giving me a heads up. I would have.
And that never happened.
No,
I've always known you were a bad person.
Yeah,
and
which
now
is
just
again,
confirms it.
which again, it made me be like, I knew we weren't friends. Like I actually knew she didn't really actually like me in the first place. So I just, it was. But that just goes. This is all to say for this person. All I ever expect from people is a heads up. And if these are your good friends, I just think saying like, hey, it would probably make you uncomfortable if I go to dinner, like. I just feel like talking it through with anybody is going to solve some problem.
Well, there's two things that come to mind.
And at least you've covered your bases.
Right.
Right. And I think to the emailer, yes, like, I think she needs to, like, tell the company policy has changed. Please come to me. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'd rather feel it from you than find out on my own.
Yeah.
To your story, though, it's funny how things become full circle here because we were talking about exes.
Yeah.
When I think of who the person would be mad at, I would think that the guy deserves some responsibility.
All the responsibility.
But I'm saying for her to attack you and say, I knew you were a bad person.
Right.
You're not real. It wasn't, he pursued you. You said this is, this person DM'd me, a conversation started, it's feeling flirty. I just got to like let you know.
Yeah.
To me, you're doing, HR would approve.
Right.
And so it is interesting that, do you think some of the lash out it's actually a compliment on you based on these you two women telling me I want my exes to be buried and horrible and doing worse than me.
Why is it a compliment?
Well, because it's like, oh my God, my guy that I'm not with anymore is doing okay. He's with
that's what's so
awesome
enraging.
Woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is full circle to what we talked about.
And that's why I said I could totally imagine her like thinking that or like feeling that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And that's what it is. It's like when she's lashing out to you, it's because she's so angry at the situation and she feels so bad about it but she can't say anything to him.
Which I get because that's me. I lash out. I say things and then I go back and go, whoops. So I like had a little bit of compassion because I was like, it's probably something I would do.
But also, I don't want enemies out there. You don't want someone thinking badly of you.
Well, I've had to attend 2 weddings with that person.
They've been there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did they say anything or you just
No, we just
ignored each other?
We just
tight face smile.
Yeah.
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 There
We
it
just
is.
avoided and it's fine. It felt mature actually.
It did.
Yeah. I was like, look at us.
And she's moved on with someone?
I'm pretty
at
sure.
the time?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so strange to me. I would find it alarming.
I don't think it's strange based on our conversation.
I would find it alarming if like my significant other was that worked up about someone dating their ex that they didn't know that well and we were together. I think I would be like,
well, I wonder if she does regret that. I wonder if she's like, ooh, that was.
What,
well, if she
yelling
does,
at you?
Yeah.
if she's
of course.
listening,
Okay.
and she does, she should just apologize.
The phone lines
Yeah,
are open.
I would. If she
Redemption is
called me
within
and
us
said
all.
that, I would be like, let's go grab a glass of wine and
Totally.
talk about
Chit
it.
chat.
Yeah.
But I do think, I think like the ex, if my girlfriend was mad about, I don't think I would be as affected.
You wouldn't be.
Well, it's because of this conversation where I'm sitting with 2 women who are like, I want my ex-boyfriend in a hole with no money, no clothing.
Yes.
And it's like, no, this is beyond
Never
me.
love
This-
again.
Right.
Yes.
This isn't about their new relationship. This is about the way, and it's a societal thing. I
Yeah.
see it on this podcast, the judgment women get for the ending of a relationship.
Oh, Lord.
And why did it end? Was she not good enough? Like, no guy is like seen as like this, like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this.
Right.
I'm not trying to like blow smoke. I'm just saying this is what
Right.
I noticed on this podcast.
Men are bitter after they're broken up with.
Divorced men are very bitter.
I was literally, I thought I was doing my ex a favor. I was like, I am doing you a gracious favor by ending this. Like, you.
Right.
Did you take it that way?
No, but I was like, we're just not aligned people. We're just not aligned.
Well, I've thought that everyone says to you when you're about to end something with someone, you're doing them a favor. You're giving them time.
He deserves someone that appreciates him for him.
Right.
Well, and he got that, and I'm happy for that because that makes sense to me.
They can do Swiffer ads together forever.
That is aligned, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And that I'm like, yeah.
Well, sometimes, I think that's how you know you're true. If you're happy for someone, then you know you've like moved on.
It took me a second.
Right.
It took me a
As all
second.
things.
And then I thought about it and I'm like, wait, this is perfect. Yeah, it's great.
Listen, this was fantastic.
This was so much
Kaitlyn
fun.
Bristowe.
Please come back.
I
could talk to you for hours.
This is awesome.
This is awesome. We're so happy you came. Everyone
you for
go
having me.
follow Kaitlyn Bristowe.
Please,
go
I'm dropping like flies.
Yeah, go support.
You're not going to see any of her relationships until she's getting married, but she's a great follow, even so.
Everything she does, okay? Off the Vine. There's a new episode every Tuesday and Thursday. If you need, sometimes what I say to people when they're like, oh, new podcast, use me as your appetizer. I was just on Off the Vine. Also, Jordana and I are going on Off the Vine too.
Right.
So
right after this.
You can use us as your intro into Kaitlyn's world. So go listen to Off the Vine every Tuesday and Thursday at Kaitlyn Bristowe on all the social medias. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I literally look at the clock and I go, what? It felt like we've been talking for 20 minutes.
Crazy.
This was the best time.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad we don't have to stop because now you're going to be on mine.
There we go.
We're just going to pick up where we left off. Everyone's going to be listening, being like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
We're naming all our inside jokes from this episode. To hear the conversation continue, check out Off the Vine where we're going to be.
Absolutely. Back next week. Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow You Up at u.up.podcast.